Hi everyone, welcome to Langchain version 1 agents. We are developing here YouTube playlist where we are discussing all the changes are done in Langchain version 1. We have already covered changes regarding the create agent, which was earlier used to be from the LangGraph, but now it is coming from the Langchain, and also how you can pass a separate your LLM model instance with a lot of configuration. Basically, you can have a full parameter control for your agent. So these two lessons we have already covered. This is time to work with how you can select dynamic model selection. So basically in this lesson, I'll be talking that while you work with the agent, how you can make sure that your model selects, basically how your agent selects these model dynamically. So this is our agent architecture and how it is gonna work here. So we have here, this is the user query, and then we have agent. Then we have our LM, and this agent accepts here the three things. It accepts the prompt, LLM, and the tool. So these are the three things which it accepts, and then it becomes here agent. All right, perfect. So as you see here previously, here we have our playlist. In this particular playlist, we have our Langchain version 1 agent, React agent from the LangGraph.prebuild. We are going to call it from the. And in this particular series here, which we have our Langchain version 1 agent, we have our two video, which we have already covered here basically. So we have already covered Langchain version 1 agent 1 and the Langchain version 1 agent 2. So these are the two things which we have already covered here. And the code for this particular playlist and for this particular series is already available here at the GitHub, which we have here, Langchain version 1 agent. All right. So all the code are available here at my repository, that is the Lakshmi made it Langchain version 1 agent here. We have our code notebook, and then we have our project setup, we have our Langchain agent presentation, all these things are here. All right, and if you are a super beginner and you do not know how to work with the agent, how to work with the Ollama, all these things, if you want to cover and if you want to understand, then what you can do, you can work with the MCP mastery course. Basically, you can enroll into the MCP mastery course here. So in the MCP mastery course, you will learn about the MCP. Thereafter, you have your agentic RAG with the Langchain and the LangGraph. And thereafter, the another one, you have master LangGraph and Langchain with the Ollama. And then you have a master Langchain and the Ollama. All right. And thereafter, you have a fine-tuning LLM with the Hugging Face Transformer for NLP. So these courses you can take if you want to have good knowledge about the LLM and AI agent development. Having said that, let's go ahead and come back to our code. The other thing also I want to say here that if you want to work with the Langchain projects, then we have here a lot of videos which I have already covered at my YouTube channel here, so that you can also watch here. These videos are available in the playlist. You have Langchain version 1 project. It is also given in the video description. Perfect. Let's come back to this one. So this is something which we are going to implement. We have our LLM prompt by default we are giving, and then we have our tools here. All right. Perfect. And as you know that we are working with the Ollama. So we have our Ollama up and running here. And basically we are working with the two type of the Ollama models, basically the models which are running on the Ollama. The first model, we are working with the Qwen3. So you can simply write here Ollama full Qwen3. And thereafter, you can write here Ollama full GPT-OSS. So these are actually the two model which you can use. And this particular model, what you are seeing here, this is the simplest one. And here, this one is the, you can say that, higher end model. This one is the higher end model, or you can say that the good one basically. So these are the two models. So what we'll do here, if you have less complex query, or you can say that the simple query, then you can select the Qwen3 for the answer. Otherwise, if you have a complex query or total number of messages, or you can say that the consecutive messages increases, then you can have the this higher end model, that is the GPT-OSS. All right. Having said that, let's go ahead and move ahead here. Okay, perfect. So the first of all, as you know that in our agent, we have LLM and we also have our tools. But before that, we have to import necessary libraries here. So what are the necessary packages we have currently here? We have here Chat Ollama. This Chat Ollama will be used to connect with our Ollama models. And thereafter, we have our AgentState here. All right. So these are the two models which we have here. Thereafter, we have our langgraph.runtime, import runtime, and then the tool. So this is where we have implemented all of our tool. In this particular lesson, particularly for this particular video, in the tool section, we are going to implement one tool that is going to analyze the text data. All right. So this is going to analyze the text data. Okay. So this is going to work as the text analyzer. Perfect. Let's go ahead and execute this. In fact, before executing, we have to implement our tool. Only then we are going to execute. So as usual, we are going to create here one standard Python method, first of all. So we implement here analyze data. All right. So the analyze data is going to have here two parameters, the data and the operation. All right. So in the data, you have here, data is going to be the list of the data, and the operation, you have a string, basically. All right. So operation is going to say us that what type of operation need to be performed. Basically, in this particular the tool we are trying to implement here, we will be passing here the list of the dictionaries, which will be converted into the pandas data frame. And then we will be doing some kind of the operation on the pandas data frame. So I'm trying to implement here the various kind of the tool just to give you knowledge that there are many ways you can create the tools, so that we can basically cover a holistic set of the tools here. So this is one of the standard Python method. You have your docstring here, dynamic pandas data analysis tool. Then you have here argument, you have a data, list of dictionaries to convert the data frame. Then you have operation. So these are the two arguments, and then it is finally going to return the result here, basically. All right, so it is going to return the result here. Okay, and then here we are decorating it with the tool. Okay, so we decorate it with a tool. Finally, then we get our tool here. So basically, this is going to be used now as a tool. Okay, perfect. Thereafter, what we do here, we import pandas as a PD, then we import numpy as np. So this is the standard library which we import here. Okay. If there is something wrong, then it is going to say that missing dependency. So why we are doing this not at the top of these tools? Because we are just trying to make sure that whatever code I write here, I do it in this particular method itself instead of putting it at the top. But if you want, you can put it at the top, basically. Having said that, let's go ahead and implement it further. Then you have your data here, and then this data is going to be coming here. And then we try to find out here that if there is no data or the data is not instance of the list, then it says that data must be non-empty list. Otherwise, what we do, first of all, we convert our data into the dictionary, into the pandas data frame. So basically what happened here, how this is going to work, let me just show you quickly here. So we have here the list of the dictionary, something like this. You can say that you have your A and some value, let's say you have a value 1, and then you have B, and thereafter you can have here a value 2. So you can have like this, and then you can say that, okay, this is going to be the data frame, TF, dot data frame, and then you are going to have it like this. Okay, so you have your data frame df. Perfect. So once you get your data frame df and here you have your operations, then you can implement your operations here. Okay, then you have exception here, fail to create the data frame. Okay, so this exception happens here. It is going to say that basically if something goes wrong, then it says that, okay, I can't create the data frame basically. And then here it says here that if data frame is empty, okay, if data frame is empty, basically if nothing comes, or you can say that if something happens and data frame is created as the empty, then it is just going to return the result here, that empty data frame. So once all these things are getting executed, right, what happened here, if it is going to return those errors will go back to the LLM, and then the LLM can fix those errors, and then thereafter it can again call the tool. So basically returning these error doesn't mean that it is not gonna analyze your data. So basically it will return these error, and based on these error, your LLM will decide that what type of data it need to pass it again. Okay. Thereafter, some of the default operation we are gonna do here. So first of all, we are gonna do some operations. If operation is not passed here, which is default operation, you see here, if not operation, basically if operation is not passed here, then it is going to just describe our data. Thereafter, it is also going to check here if df not in operation. All right, if operation is passed and data frame is not there basically in the operation, then it says that operation must be a reference of the data frame. That means, let's say if you have created your data frame like this, and you have some operation like this, df.info, and then you have df.describe or something like this, and df dot something, all right, or df dot group y maybe, all right, anything like this and something. So all these things are going to be passed as the operation here. So that is what it is checking here. So in the operation, let's say if data frame is not given at all, basically let's say if something is saying that I want data.describe, but we already know that we have created our data frame as a df, so it's not as a data. So as you see here that we are creating our data into the data frame as a df, not the data. So that is why it is saying here operation must be in the reference of the df. Thereafter, we execute the operations. With this, we make sure that it execute only the native Python operations. All right. And here we are replacing from the in the string with the actual data frame instance. PD is going to be replaced with the PD, and the data frame df is going to be replaced with the df, np is going to be the np. And then finally we evaluate it basically. All right. And then we get the result here. Then we check whether this result is going to be the pandas data frame or the series, or we have anything else, then that is going to be returned as the list. So why this can be either pandas data frame series, or it can be anything other than this? Because see, I can ask any kind of the operation. Let's say if I ask here df.toList, all right. In this case, it is going to produce the list output. But if I say here the df.describe, in this case, it is going to return here pandas series operation. All right. Perfect. Okay. So it has all these. Thereafter, what we do here, so all these are going to be executed in the try block. And then this is going to be executed in the exception block. So any exception happens in this particular try block, all right, any kind of exception happens in this try block, then it is going to return this, basically not any kind of, basically if syntax operation happen, then it is going to say that invalid operation syntax. Otherwise, it is going to, if any error happen, exception happen related to the name error, then it says that invalid reference. And if exception occurs related to anything else, then it is going to simply return all the error. whatever the error it has actually accumulated, all those error are gonna return. So we have our tools here right now. All right, so analyze tool is implemented, analyze data tool is implemented. Let's go ahead and import this. So now we can successfully import this. Now our tool will be having this analyze data. You see here, before implementation, if we have imported this, then the analyze data tool might not have been imported here. That is why we needed to implement it into the tool before I import it here. Perfect. Let's go ahead and write the model selection function. So as I told you, how it is going to select the model. You see here, you have something like this, let's say. Okay. So you have your query. You say that this is going to be your query. And then here is your model. So basically, this is not the query. Query comes from the user from somewhere here. Then in between, this gets converted into the messages, basically. Okay. So it gets converted into the messages. And then here you have your model selection. Okay. So this model selection, what it is going to do here. So it is going to produce the two things here, basically. Model selection. So either it is going to produce here Qwen3 model, or it is going to produce here the GPT-OSS model. All right. So these two model it can produce. For the simple query, if it has the simple query, so it is going to produce, it is going to work with the Qwen3 model. And for the complex query, it is going to work with the GPT-OSS model. So this is the overall thing which we are going to implement here. So what I do here, first of all, I create my tool list here. So the two tools we are going to use, the web search and the analyze data. Web search tool have been already implemented. That is the first thing that we implemented in our first lesson. And that lesson is already here at my channel, Langchain version 1 agent. And you can see the code here. So that we implemented into the first lesson. That's the web search. And in this lesson, we implemented the analyze data. So these two tools are going to be used here. Okay. Let's write a method to select the model. So the model is going to accept here the state. So in our, basically in our LLM agent, what happened here? So whatever the message is flowing from LLM to tools, tools to the LLM, and then the LLM to the answer, all these are flowing in the form of the state. All right, so all these are flowing in the form of state. So we get the state here that is going to be the agent state, which we imported from Langchain agents, and the runtime here. So basically it is going to make sure that whatever the operation we do here, that can be changed into the runtime. And then it is going to finally return the model instance. So either it will return Qwen3 model instance or GPT-OSS model instance. Any one of the model instance, it can return here. Okay. Perfect. So we have our message here. So messages is equal to the state messages. And then we have our message count is equal to the length of the messages. So with this, we get our messages and then we get our message count here. Okay. So first of all, what we do here, we count here if our total number of messages are less than 10, then we are going to select here the Qwen3 model. Okay. So if the total number of messages are less than 10, we select the Qwen3 model. Otherwise, we select here GPT-OSS model. All right. Perfect. Based on this, we select a particular model, Qwen3 or the GPT-OSS, and let's go ahead and execute this. Finally, we say here the logic is like if less than 10 messages, then select Qwen3. Otherwise, select the GPT-OSS model. Okay, let's go ahead and implement here our dynamic model selection. So we create here agent is equal to create agent. Then select model. Tools equal to the tool list. And then we print here. Dynamic agent created successfully. Print, this agent will automatically switch models based on the conversation complexity. All right. So this is how it is going to do. Let's go ahead and execute this. Perfect. So we have got our agent. Thereafter, we are going to work here with the short conversation. And then I'll show you that our Qwen3 model will be selected here. So a very short conversation where we have just a simple single message, search for AI news. Let's go ahead and see which particular model is selected. As you see here, using Qwen3, because only one message is there. So in our select model, if you notice here that we have passed that particular method here, that particular function. So now in this version 1, we can directly pass these method, which is going to return a particular model name here basically. All right. So this particular model is, this particular method is executed where it is going to automatically accept the agent state and the runtime. Seems like this runtime is not used in any way. And then it is going to return either the Qwen3 or the GPT-OSS. As you see here, the Qwen3 is only used the first time, and the second time when it called the tool, and after getting the tool, then it has the 3 messages, and even after that it says that I need to select only Qwen3 model. Let's go ahead and see how it is going to select GPT-OSS for the long conversation. So what I do here, this is message number 12 in our conversation. Basically, I'm just going to create a very long message. I create my agent with the history. I select the model. This is my agent here. Thereafter, what I do here, so this is going to be the list of messages. In this, what I do, first of all, I'm going to create here 12 message here. I just string 12 message, 12 string message. And thereafter, we are going to add this particular message here. So total, we have 13 messages here. Okay. So the total, we have our 13 messages here. And then all these are passed to the agent. Finally. Okay. Perfect. Let's go ahead and execute this and then see what happened. As you know here, we had 12 here and 1 here. That becomes 13. And the same question we are using, which we had, not the same question, but in fact this one. Now, as you see here, it has triggered the model switch. Now we are using here the GPT-OSS. All right. So this is how you can select model dynamically, either Qwen3 or the GPT-OSS model. Let's go ahead and see this in interactive demo, where I'll be showing you interactively how the conversation goes on, and once it reaches at the threshold, then it is going to switch the model. So what I do here, demo conversation progression. We have our doc string, then the conversation messages. We have our test messages here. Okay. And then all these are total messages here. Then we iterate over it finally. Okay. And then the conversation messages, we append message here in this. And then finally we print our message. Thereafter, we are going to create here a state. So in this state, all these conversation messages, first it is empty. And then as I read these messages, I'm going to add here in the conversation message. So we create a mock state here basically. And in the mock state here, we see if length is less than 10, we say that would use Qwen3. So basically before model decides, we are guessing that it should use Qwen3. If conversation is less than 10, otherwise it should use the GPT-OSS. And once it reaches there, it uses their GPT-OSS, we will just stop it there. Let's go ahead and call this demo conversation progression. We are just going to run it and execute this. As you see here, would use Qwen3, 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 and as we call this one, it is going to use the GPT-OSS. As of now, as you see here that we have not called the agent here, but let's go ahead and call our agent. So what I do here, I'm going to create my agent here. So I create agent is equal to create agent. And in the create agent, we are going to pass this thing basically. So we bring it here, paste it here. So agent equal to the create agent and then the create agent. Then I say here agent dot invoke, and we are going to pass our mock state in this basically. All right. So the same thing we are going to do here as well. So we assign it to the agent equal to the agent, and then we do like this. Let's go ahead and execute this and then see what happened here. So we expect that it should use the Qwen3. It is using the Qwen3 here. So this thing is coming from the model selection itself as it is moving forward here. So it is still using the Qwen3. And then here it comes the message 4. It is still using the Qwen3. Message 5 it is still using the Qwen3. Now 9 messages has become here. Okay. And then we have overwritten our state. So 6 message Qwen3, 7 message Qwen3, 8 message Qwen3. Now we are reaching to our threshold where it should be going to select the GPT-OSS. So the first you see here, how does this work? So in this case, what happens here? It has actually switched to the GPT-OSS in between. First it used the Qwen3. Thereafter seems like a tool was called. So it got 2 additional messages, tool message and the AI message. Then it total becomes the 10 messages. So in between that got switched to the GPT-OSS. But here again, in the next iteration, as we assigned here a new state, that's the mock state here. So that got 9 messages. In that case, it again selects the Qwen3 only. But as soon as it reaches to the 10, again it got selected here to GPT-OSS. So this is the overall understanding and overall working principle here, how you can select model dynamically. And this is the beauty of the Langchain version 1. So they have done a lot of changes in the Langchain agents where you pass your method basically, and then that method is going to return their model instance, and that model instance is going to be used dynamically. All right, perfect. I hope that you have liked this particular video. And if you have liked this video, please do like this video and subscribe this channel. All right. And also subscribe this channel so that you can get the update as I publish other videos. All right. Bye-bye. Take care.